Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction entertainment community. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. Mm-hmm. And we return to you at a very awkward time to record a haunted attraction targeted podcast.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we're actually recording this and we'll be publishing it the Monday before Halloween.
Yeah.
Which means for us, 2/3 of our season, at least time-wise, is in the book, though likely only about 25% of the people. Mm-hmm. So, are in the books. And so we have been open 2 nights. We'll talk about it briefly, but we're really not going to focus on that this episode.
No, that'll be next week's episode. After Halloween, we can tell you all the numbers and all the changes.
All the big, everything big and all that. So we'll save that for next week. This week, we want to focus on... I got a fun little scavenger hunt for y'all.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we're going to talk about the haunts we've visited recently. Over the past 2 weeks or so. And that's 3 haunts in particular. It's Decomposed Haunted House, Haunting on the Bayou, and Rise Haunted House, including all 3 of its attractions.
Yes, and in that order.
And that's the order we'll be covering them in. So please, stay tuned to us, follow us. We're talking about, like I said, we'll talk about our haunt more next week. And so just follow us and like us and subscribe to us at all the places we exist. We're at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, youtube.com/hauntweekly. And of course, everywhere that you can get podcasts from, we are there. So yeah, it has been a busy haunt season. Mm-hmm. And I guess first we'll just say the first 2 nights of our flowers are in the book. I have a lot to talk about, but like we said, we're not really delving into it here because all those feelings could change in a heartbeat Halloween night.
Yeah.
Halloween. But so far, I think things have actually gone fairly smoothly.
Yeah, right now, feelings are positive.
Feelings are good. There's definitely something weird going on with crowds this season, and it's not the first time I've heard this discussed.
No. So
we're seeing a little bit of weirdness too, but nothing that has really dampened things. We've had good crowds. Everyone's been having fun. Positive reviews. Mm-hmm. The haunt is humming for the most part.
Yeah.
Repairs we've had to make, adjustments have been silly minor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all in all, I can't complain. In fact, it was kind of weird. Friday night, the first night we were open, what we traditionally have done is after we hang out with the actors, after we have that little time, you and I go to a bar or somewhere away.
Yeah.
We leave. And we go to a quiet place where we can sit there, do a post-mortem, and make a list of shit to fix for Saturday.
Right.
We went to do that, and we didn't have much, if anything, to put on that list.
No.
In fact, I think I made a new exit sign.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, I think that was the only real change.
Yeah. Between Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, we got some bigger ones coming between Saturday and Halloween, and we'll go into that later. But yeah, we're actually done. We actually went out to a nice, super cash, slow-paced dinner at a nice Indian restaurant. We've just been kind of relaxing a little bit and trying to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And in fact, last night, we went to Rise.
Yeah.
And so we get to talk all about that on this episode. Now, before we get into all that, for a few housekeeping notes. One is I have apparently not been very focused lately. I did not post last week's question the week on the Facebook and elsewhere.
Yeah.
So we don't have any answers for it. So we're not going to do a question week this week. I'll just post that on Wednesday and try to rectify things then. It's a question of most weeks, anywho. I think we all realize that realistically.
Yeah. Yeah, October's weird.
So, yeah, cut a slack on that one. I just didn't get it posted on Wednesday when we usually share the question of the week. But stay tuned. All the places we exist, facebook.com/hauntweekly, all that stuff. And you'll see the question of the week when it goes live. Mm-hmm. The second thing is I did have a little bit of free time, a modicum amount, not a huge amount.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting into the game, the annual Ghost Town Pumpkin Festival. Mm-hmm. Now, this game is calling it a game may be a stretch.
Yeah.
There are game elements to it, but the reality of it is what this is. It's basically a virtual pumpkin carving festival.
Yes.
That's the easiest way to describe it.
Yeah, including spooky ghost, a little hayride. There are random things scattered around the universe.
Yeah. There's a hayride, full function, and it's in the game.
Yeah.
But it's a full hayride. You can go through. There is a small haunted house, too, that they have. Now, to be clear, nothing is scary. This is all very silly. This is the most fun I've had with, like, Martha Stewart Halloween stuff ever.
Yeah.
Like, that type of stuff. But it's spooky. It's funny. I like the fact everybody's a ghost.
Yeah.
And you get to customize your ghost. And if you actually... And the other great thing about it is the game is pay what you want for it.
Yeah.
You can get it for free if you want, but I highly encourage you to spend the $2 if you check it out to get the version with hats. Support the creator, support the servers, because this does require some expenses, I'm pretty sure. And I'll drop a link in the show notes of where you can obtain it. But also, if you pay the $2, you get hats for your ghost.
Yes.
And that's just cool.
I have a spider.
I have a pirate hat. I'm a pirate ghost.
Yes, you are.
So yeah.
I'm a Cyclops monster with a spider friend.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're going for. You're just picking random shit that looks cool. And
yeah, I'm a Cyclops monster with a spider hat.
Okay. But yeah, it's basically you get to roam around a town and a festival. There's a hayride, a maze.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other things you can go to and check out the pumpkins other people have carved. There's something like 4,000 plus pumpkins.
Yeah, there's a lot of pumpkins.
There's a lot. And I know that the festival is almost full because I struggled to find a place to do this. Which is, I have carved a Haunt Weekly pumpkin.
Yes.
Using their editor. Now, if you need to see what it looks like, you can go to facebook.com/hauntweekly. It's on there. And there also is another link that also link you to it. But basically, I want to see if any of y'all find it. I'm just curious.
When does the game go offline?
It goes offline, as they said, a few weeks. I think they said a week or two after Halloween. They haven't given a specific date. Okay. But you have time after Halloween to check it out. Okay. Now, it is in the classical world. The classic world, as they call it, which is the default. So if you don't if you don't go to a parallel dimension, as they call it, you'll be in the correct dimension. You'll be in the correct place. And I posted about it on Facebook. No one seems to have found it yet. But since you are listeners and you're listening, I want to reward that by making your search a little easier. And I'm going to give you 2 hints. One is a place not to look, and the second is something to look for. Okay, the first hint is where not to look. I will be honest, and I will cut everyone a break and tell you I did not hide it in the hedge maze. Right. Hey, that would be a dickhead move. Because even though it's not that difficult of a maze, it has a lot of dead ends and things to hide pumpkins in. I theoretically could have hidden in there and just assumed no one would ever see it. Yeah. Yeah. I did not do that. No, it is not in the maze. And the second is, I fucked up. When I went to place it, I accidentally placed it facing away from the path. So as you blow by it, it looks like a blank pumpkin. But you still walk up to it and see it. Yeah, you can walk around it. You can walk around it and see it. But it does look blank at first blush. Yeah. Which is funny because all the other pumpkins, or most of them, are carved. Yeah. So it might actually stand out a little bit more. Yeah. But no, it's a really fun thing. You get to go around. You can like pumpkins. You can like all the pumpkins you want. And if you want to you give 1 award per day. Per 24 hours, you can award 1 pumpkin a ribbon, and those ribbons become visible when people click the pumpkins. Yeah. It's a really, really neat thing. It's a lot of fun. I definitely think it's worth the $2. And I can tell this is going to be a Halloween season tradition for me. Yeah. Participating in this. It seems like it's not the first year they've done it. Yes. So, since Jonathan carved a pumpkin first time as an adult, it was virtual, but it counts. I've never carved a pumpkin even as a kid physically. We've had this discussion. We still need to
do that at some
Yeah,
point.
at some point. Anyways, moving on. What were you about to say?
Moving on. So, if you find the pumpkin,
Yes.
take a screenshot.
There's a camera mode in the game, making it silly easy.
Yep. And message it to us. Do not post it as a comment.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to give it away. But message it to us.
Via Facebook, I'd probably be the ideal.
With your name and address, and I will send you something.
We'll send you some goodies. Don't know what, but we will send goodies. Now, I'm curious to see if anyone finds it.
Yeah.
It's well hidden.
It is.
It is well hidden. And I would not feel bad if nobody found it simply because it's going to take a combination of luck and skill to find it, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'll drop the link. The game, again, is the annual Ghost Town Pumpkin Festival. The pumpkin is in the classic world, the default. And, like I said, it is not in the maze. And it was accidentally placed facing the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
That part was genuine accident. I did not mean to do that. I'm sorry for making it that much harder. But, what are you going to do? Apparently you can't change it.
Yeah.
Anyways, definitely send us that and get some goodies.
Yeah.
And I don't mean goodies headache powder. I mean other goodies.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like I said, we're not going to talk too much about our season so far. Things are positive. I'm hoping that continues tomorrow. But right now, spirits are high. Everything's good. We're just really tired and really frazzled and really brain dead. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, duh, right?
Yeah.
That's not new.
It's October 30th. We won't be back to full cylinders for at least a week.
Oh, probably two.
Yeah.
But anyways, we have been making time to visit other haunts in the area. We did not do our field trip this year.
Right.
But we have hit all the local haunts. We've already talked about New Orleans Nightmare and Mortuary. And so now, and we've also talked about 13th Gate.
Yes.
So now we get to talk about the remaining haunts that we are aware of, at least, which are Decomposed and Homa, Haunting on the Bayou, which is literally in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what town that is. On the way to Decomposed, basically. Mm-hmm. And Rise. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about them in the order we visited them. And so, in this case, we start with Decomposed.
Yeah.
Decomposed had... I'll be blunt, and I want to be honest and transparent about everything. Decomposed is the hardest one for us to review.
Yeah.
Because, we're friends with Dwayne and Davey and other haunters. We know them. But we know them through their haunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've always had that... The relationship has always been customer-haunter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've not, gone out for drinks with them and things like that.
John Farrell, the owner and creator of Decomposed, someone we've known for over a decade before he ever opened a haunt. He was working in haunts, but he didn't open one. Mm-hmm. And that does make it more difficult. I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. So if it sounds like I'm treating him more harshly or less harshly or whatever, know that's probably why. I'm probably trying to find my balance.
Yeah.
But the thing about Decomposed was last year was their first year. Mm-hmm. And it was a short walkthrough. It was only 6 minutes. But it was stellar 6 minutes.
Yeah. It really was.
The acting, the acting was way better than any first-year haunt had the right to be. Mm-hmm. Set, you could tell that John had been working on those sets for years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very, very good experience. We were looking forward to seeing how he built and expanded. And expansion is probably the Pee-wee's Playhouse word of this haunt. Every time you say it, ah!
Yeah, pretty much.
But... Because, he went from a 6-minute walkthrough to a 16-minute, 10-second walkthrough according to our watch.
Right.
Which is nuts. And admittedly, we went a little slower because we were with 3 dipshits, and we'll get to that in a minute. Mm-hmm. But, between extending walkthroughs in certain scenes and just outright adding things, he almost tripled the haunt length. And did so without raising the price at all.
Right. And not only did he do that, he also built a whole new actor area and put up a queue line area.
Yeah, brand new circus tent queue line.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Mm-hmm. The work really shows. I mean, it does. That is, like I said, he has expanded this operation significantly. And from a time standpoint and a size standpoint, definitely, it's on par with any other bigger haunts in the area.
Yeah, it is. And, where he's at is a challenging location.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Um, because one of the biggest reasons is flooding.
Yeah.
It is prone to flood.
Yeah, he's out in an old blimp base
Yeah.
in Homa. So basically, I mean, on one hand, it's the ideal place because it's just a giant fucking concrete slab
Mm-hmm.
begging to have something built on it, and he built a haunt.
Yeah.
But on the other, it is a low-lying area that does flood semi-regularly. So that has been frustrating for him, I know. But yeah, he managed to damn near triple the walkthrough. Like, I remember last year, the graveyard sequence felt like it was blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it was small.
You go through it, but the thing is, they didn't like make the graveyard bigger. They made the walking path around it more circuitous, and so you saw more of it. And B, I'm sure it was a little bit bigger, but I think most of the gains there were by the fact we had to like walk around the hearse and.
Yeah, I thought that they had at least doubled that size.
Even if it doubled in size, that still had to add a lot of extra walking path because, he really did a great job. They did a great job adding walkthrough time using the paths, the pathing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very good haunt, a very solid experience overall. What you thinking? Oh, no. So it's overall very good. There were a few issues that we did have.
Before we get into that,
okay.
A couple more positives.
Yeah, please.
I really liked how accessible the haunt is. Yep. It is both wheelchair accessible and it has no blinking lights, which is something we ran into with one of our actors.
Yeah.
So, they use natural lighting using lamps and things, which is really nice. It actually adds to the realism of the scenes.
Agreed.
Like that. And now we can move on to the little dings. And they aren't even like big.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing, and this was the one thing we didn't mention to John because I'd forgotten about it when we came out and had our chat afterward, was we went on a Thursday. There was functionally no line. I think Thursday may just not work in Homa.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was also against a Saints game.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't open up. Even if it's Halloween is on the same night as a Saints game, we're not up against that. I mean, nobody shows up.
Yeah, that's a big thing in this region. She's right. So there was a function no line. There was like a dozen people in line.
Yeah. And
for reasons I'm not clear on, the lady letting us in made us go in with the group in front of us.
Yeah.
Now, I often like going in with groups in front of us, but the group in front of us was a dad and two tween-age sons.
Yeah.
Who were just absolute shitheads.
Yeah.
Like, I like going through haunts with other customers and seeing how normal, quote-unquote, normal people react to haunts. It's a very enlightening experience for me. But this group was just unenjoyable. And we were like, yeah, we're not with them. No, you're going with them. Mm-hmm. Why? We were literally the last people in line.
Yeah.
And we were cool waiting. I mean, we'd waited that was the other time this happened was at the Revelation. Mm-hmm. That like 2 days that was open. They did that where they had like 7 people in line and there were like 3 groups. And they just made everyone go in at once.
Yeah.
For reasons I'm not clear on. So yeah, that was frustrating. It was nice to see their reaction because they're doing the thing that tween boys do. Mm-hmm. I'm not scared. I'm making stupid jokes and all this, and then just jumping at absolutely every little goddamn thing, even whether it was a scare or not.
Yeah, some of it was really funny, and some of it was, come on, you're just playing this up. You can't be that scared, or they would start being little assholes to the actors.
Yeah. They just were not the type of people I like going to a haunt with, and it was frustrating, and that did hinder some. The things we did talk about, and the things actually he brought up, one is they've had challenges getting actors, and getting actors there, especially that night.
Right.
Because it was the first Thursday they've ever been open. And apparently they get a lot of their actors from the local high school. Well, those kids probably can't work late on a Thursday night.
Right.
So they got...
Well, and there was another issue with some of their actors having to work later on Thursday than they do on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
And they had added this because they had to open later in season than they had originally planned.
Yeah, because of flooding. We just mentioned that. So yeah, there clearly were some actor struggles going on. Now, that said, some of the actor interactions were absolutely fucking genius.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I'm about to say these words. Because anyone who's listened to this podcast for a long time knows that this is just absolute bananas for me to say this. I loved their chainsaw guy.
Yeah.
I did. I just did.
And it was a clown chainsaw guy on top of it.
Literally everything I fucking roll my eyes at in a haunt, and this motherfucker manages to make it work somehow.
Yeah.
And this was the time I was glad we were with them.
Yeah.
That group. Because he came out and he did for us, I think he does different shticks. He came, grab the chainsaw, and he said, "Oh no, I'm not going to do that." Sets it down and sort of puts it aside. He says, "Oh yeah, I am." And then gets him, corners him, but then immediately knows when to release and let him go.
Yeah.
It was beautifully executed. And the guy they had in the lead into that, who was doing the pop and lock zombie, genuinely freaky to watch.
Yeah, I don't know how he moved that fast.
No, it was genuinely disconcerting to watch. It was like a video game was glitching.
Yeah, as you say, he was teleporting all over the scene.
Yeah, so they had a lot of great actors, but the acting was inconsistent, and we know why.
Yeah.
The only advice I can give at all is to pair new actors with veteran actors.
Right.
Rather than clumping the new actors together in one place.
Yeah.
And the only other thing, and this was, once again, he raised it, not me, so I can do it, is that you could tell which sections were newly built.
Right.
Because he didn't have the time, because it's mostly just him and his partner. They didn't have the time to put the detail in. Because in the story of Decomposed, we know it well because we know him, is that he would do a room every year, basically. Home haunt it in his driveway. Then shove those panels into storage, and just someday, mysterious day in the future, open a pro haunt with all those panels. And he did. I mean, I'm fucking impressed he did. But you can tell which panels were made over the 10-year history running up to it. Right. And which were a this year thing. Yeah. And now he has said his focus in the off season is going to be detailing. He doesn't want to build anymore.
No, he's got a lot built. I agree that it needs some detail. There were a few too many black walls. Yeah. But not a distracting amount.
No. I never felt like we were going through black wall hell or anything like that.
No.
But I think a more consistent theming and decoration would help a lot. Just to tie the new with the old better.
Yeah.
But all in all, I mean, okay, this is the sophomore year.
Yeah.
And sophomore year, in many ways, is always the toughest. Because the first year, the goal is just to get fucking open. Yeah. Just to have it open, have people come, and have the place not burn down. That's like the entire standard. Now people expect shit of you, and now, the novelty is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I really think that you have to wait till like 5 years, 6 years to really get into your groove and set up what your USP is for you, your unique selling point.
And I agree with you. One of the things you said was that this is going to be a haunt to watch. Yeah. I agree with that completely.
Yeah. I had said way back when Rise was starting out, I said, they're going to be the ones to watch. They've got all this land. They're being innovative with it. They're the ones to watch.
They're putting in the work.
Decomposed has given me the same kind of vibes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's handicaps there being in Homa, especially when you're trying to find actors. Yeah. Because the thing is, and one thing we pointed out is, Decomposed, 13th Gate, and Rise are all almost exactly the same time from our door. Yeah. Now, maybe not the same distance in miles, but the same driving time. About an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah. All of them. And so,
in different directions, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I know, you assholes couldn't build close to each other. But then again, like, we used to be able to do Rise and 13th Gate on the same night, but Rise got too big. Yeah. And now that's just never going to work. But anyways, so yeah, Decomposed, the lead there is so much more added. Yeah. Same ticket price. I mean, if he had gone up on the ticket price, I don't think anyone would have batted an eyelash once they saw how much new stuff there was.
Right.
But, that's... You can tell John loves this shit.
Yeah.
You really can.
Oh, and they did add a coffin ride this year.
Oh, yeah, the coffin ride thing. Yeah, I've heard about that.
You've already done it.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable getting in it. Not because I'm scared of coffins or anything like that. It looks like the motion of it would probably not be kind to my old body.
Yeah, I did it once, and it was fine. I didn't, hate it or anything. It's just not an experience I feel the need to repeat.
Yeah, but if you haven't done it and you're interested and you're young,
and you're young and you don't mind being shaken around and sprayed with smells and all the stuff this ride does, Godspeed. Yeah. It's only $5. I don't see why not.
Exactly.
So yeah, Decomposed, the story is growth, and like you said, it's going to be a haunt to watch. If they can, they got open, they got over the big hurdle, and now they're trying to build momentum.
Yep.
Any issues, any stumbles in the sophomore year, I think can be easily overcome next year.
Yeah.
I'm not worried. I'm actually very excited about the future.
The town is showing up for it.
And you know what? I mean, it's crazy how much they're showing up.
Yeah, it's actually making us rethink our metrics for where to build a haunt.
Yeah, it really is. So anyways, that takes us to the second haunt. Haunting on the Bayou.
Yeah.
That's the name. Now, we talked about them. Their first year was last year as well.
As a pro.
As a pro haunt, yes. They were a home haunt that went pro last year.
Yeah. And last year, they were full of spirit props going back 20 years at least.
Yeah.
And it was adorable.
It had the charm of, the JC era of haunting.
Yeah.
Or, it made me think of, when the high school marching band, we did that one in Belle Chase years ago.
Yeah.
Where the band was raising money for a trip.
Yeah.
And so they put on a haunted house. And was it the scariest thing in the world? No. But was it a lot of fun? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have positive memories of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go into it with that kind of expectation. It's a lot of fun. And it's an era of haunting that doesn't really exist much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I see it so rarely that I relish it when I can get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very short walkthrough. My timer was 4 minutes, but they've definitely done their part to expand too.
Yeah.
This year there were no child actors, which I was very grateful for that.
Yeah, because last year there were a lot of kids.
Not high school child actors,
No.
child actors.
Yeah.
This year was all adults or all at least teenagers that I could see.
Yeah, older teens.
Older teens at the very least. And basically, they had built some scenes and they had more permanent walls. You could tell that they were refining and honing this.
And trying to scare people.
Yeah.
They had learned some distract and startle tactics, which were good. Their opening scene wasn't great.
Yeah.
It needs some work, but,
I think the opening scene could work. Because basically you're going in and this lady's like you're checking in at a hotel type thing. And the lady's telling you, I think the goal is to tell you the story, but all she really seemed to do in our case was point at all the props.
Yeah, and half of them were broken.
Yeah, and half of them weren't working. I honestly just have her tell a story.
Yeah.
Because she's got a good presence.
Yeah, she does.
I think the mistake was having her play off the props.
Yeah.
Which, like you said, half weren't working, and really...
And that's one of those things that a lot of people try to do. They try to make the props the scare.
No.
Props are never as scary as people.
You can do what I did when doing out in front, whereas I'm trying to hold a rope. Say hi to my good friend. We got a skeleton attached to an IV stand. Yeah. Say hi to my good friend Trip here. Mm-hmm. He ain't much of a talker, but he is very well hydrated.
Yeah.
And then that gets a little chuckle, and I've killed 30 seconds of their life.
Yeah.
Type thing. So that you can use props as part of your storytelling, but trying to make it the scare or trying to make it the centerpiece. Mm-hmm. The props are your sidekick, not the other way around.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no, I mean the lady that was there when we were there had great presence.
Yeah.
Good energy, good voice, good pacing. Mm-hmm. Everything was good, but trying to play to the props was a mistake, I think.
Yeah.
But no, I was actually very pleasantly surprised by the improvements they've made. They clearly are, working, trying to build a more professional attraction, but they still have that charm very much there.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed one of their scares, which was to cut holes in a wall and put a person through it to look like they were a painting.
Mm-hmm.
And then the person lunged through the wall, but they're like the cutouts were the same shapes as their hands and their face.
Yeah.
So it didn't stand out as, oh, those are holes in a wall with a person through it.
Yeah. Yeah, they clearly did a lot more build this time around.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy about that. And it, like you said, it showed they had some great scare tactics, some ideas. I had a good time, and
I don't remember seeing any scene setters this time.
No, I don't recall if we did or didn't. But if we did, I didn't pay it. I was distracted enough to not.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember them. If they were there, I was distracted enough to not remember them. Mm-hmm. They've also added other things. They have the T-shirts now. Mm-hmm. They also have added food, which is nice because they're kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
And so this gives you a little bit more that you can do. They have their photo ops back. All in all, I really, like I said, I enjoyed both of these haunts. And I really think that if you're in that area, Decomposed definitely is worth hitting up.
Yes.
And if you're going to Decomposed, you're not that far from Haunting on the Bayou. Mm-hmm. If you're going on tonight, Haunting on the Bayou is open. Yeah, no reason not to swing by.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the attitude I take. So that brings us to sort of the highlight, the main course of this meal, which is Rise. Mm-hmm. Wow.
No kidding.
We went there yesterday. It was we're recording on Monday. We went there yesterday. I don't remember. I cannot honestly tell you how much of the exterior stuff is new because I realized as we were leaving that we parked in a different lot.
Yeah.
Than we usually do. So I think that bridge might have been there for a long time, and I just never crossed it because I never had to.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I don't think that it was there, but I'm not sure. So anyway, we'll get into it. We'll go in the order that we went on the rides.
Yeah. We arrived right at opening.
Yeah.
And I was surprised to see that parking lot already slammed on a Sunday. I know it's the Sunday before Halloween.
Yeah.
But it's still a Sunday.
Yeah, I didn't expect people, honestly.
I expected some people, but not a crush of humanity. Yeah. I expected something in between dead and crowded.
I did not expect to be happy that we had the VIP Fast Pass.
No shit. But we did the haunts in a weird order. And some of that comes through just experience with us. Mm-hmm. We did the Haunted Hayride first, and that may have actually been a mistake.
Yeah, and the reason we did it first is because it's good. Don't get me wrong. It is good. But it is our least favorite of the three attractions.
And it's historically been the one with the shortest line, but also kind of the weirdest throughput because it's a hayride. Right. So throughput can get wonky. And the other reason that may have been a mistake this time around, though, was because apparently they were late opening it. Mm-hmm. And we ended up losing like 30 minutes of time. And like 30 minutes isn't that bad. Right. But remember, their opening hours this Sunday were listed as 7 to 9 p.m. Right. So, and if you're trying to get 3 very big, very well-attended attractions in a one night, that's tight. It is. It's doable, but it's tight. And we lost 30 minutes sitting on the trailer.
On the trailer just waiting.
And it was not comfortable for either of us.
No.
Hurt your knees and my back. Basically.
Yeah, once again, we're old.
We're old and we don't fold quite that way no more. No. And those hay bales are just an odd height for me.
Yeah, they are.
Honestly, the hayride, I think, had the least amount of change of the 3 attractions. Right. And I know that
there are always plans for improvement on everything. And
the reason for that becomes more evident in just a few minutes in this conversation. Yeah. It's what I was trying to sort of get around to. Exactly. Becomes a little more evident. But yeah, it had changed the least. But so if you've done it like super recently, this was not the year to do it again. Maybe next year, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, there's always talk about expanding it. There's been talk.
Yeah, now if it's your favorite thing and you love it, then just go ahead and do it, obviously. No, yeah. But
The one major notable change
Yeah.
was the cult leader that pops up halfway through
Right.
was now a woman who did not wear a mask. Historically, because the whole plot of this, and it's kind of a confusing, convoluted plot, is that there's a mad scientist who's making human-animal hybrids, and somehow, through unexplained forces, you end up on a hayride and thrown through his compound.
Yeah.
Seriously, they need a throwaway line to explain what the fuck we're doing there.
Yeah, so that whenever we're asked it, we can...
What are you doing here? Fuck, I don't know. I bought a ticket for a hayride.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I get it. It's the line, but just the throwaway line about how, I snared you in my trap or something like that.
Yeah.
You thought you were going...
See, the doctor, fooled y'all into getting on this ride. Well, it's not a ride. It's a blah, 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 blah. They were going
You're just our new test subjects,
Exactly.
And throw it out there.
Yeah.
Something like that could work, but yeah. So the scientist is doing the animal-human hybrids, and there's this weird cult leader character who's taking in the hybrids.
Yeah.
And
the
running...
ones who have escaped.
Yeah, ones who have escaped and are, forming a religion around themselves. Historically, that role has been played by a guy who, mind you, had a very imposing presence. But they always put him in a goddamn mask where you couldn't see his face or his lips move.
Right.
Which is bad because he was mic'd and talking.
Yeah, and it's a very weird experience to have a character talking and not being able to see their mouth move.
Yeah.
It's a total disconnect and a disconnect.
And he can't use his facial expressions to emote to you.
Right.
He can't engage with you with his face. So they swapped it out for a woman, and she is awesome. She is. Genuinely awesome. She was very charismatic. You can't take your eyes off of her.
Commands the scene.
I could sit there and listen to her talk about anything she wanted for an hour, hours at end. It's not a problem. She's just that engaging. She has great facial expressions, great mannerisms. Just takes you on a ride. I really thought that was a great move. And it's such a big difference what a little face emotion makes in that scene. Yeah. Because you get to see the passion, the anger, the frustration. You get to see those things in addition to hear them. It really tied it together so well. But other than that, no significant changes. Right. So if you're familiar with the Hayride, a lot of people, I don't know why people seem to be down on it. Not so much people locally, but people that go on it from out of state seem to be down on it. I don't understand why. I think it's a very, very fun attraction. Yeah. It's 21 minutes. It's technically the longest attraction at Rise. I've always enjoyed it. I admit that it didn't change a lot year over year, but it's always been fun. I've always had a good time on it. I don't know. Yeah. I think it has historically been, and I think this year too, my least favorite of the three attractions. Yeah. But I definitely think it was better than last year, especially because that swap out of the cult leader. Yeah. And, so we finished the Hayride. Yep. And now we're going to the big house. And we picked the big house because traditionally, at least, the Asylum has been our favorite thing to do. I'm not sure that's true anymore. And it's not because the Asylum got worse. No. In no way is that a knock on the Asylum. If you have not been to Rise this year, or you didn't think that they changed enough last year so you're not going, you're wrong. You need to go. Yeah, Rise, the main Rise well, whatever. Yeah. They tore out significant portions of it and replaced it with new scenes. Yeah. There's significant portions that are totally new. And we won't go into too much detail of what's new. Don't want to spoil it. But it's very, very cool. I love it. But the main thing that really pushes me over the edge and makes me gush is, dear Jesus, the acting. Yeah. It's just straight fire the fucking acting. Yeah. The acting at Rise was never bad. No. I don't think I've ever said a negative word about it. At least not since maybe the first or second year. Yeah. But not in a long time. But it's never been a standout favorite either. There's always been a few interesting characters. Yeah. but
in the big house.
But it's always been, the acting was serviceable. It was adequate. It got the job done. It got us through the haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
This time around, the acting stood out as the highlight.
Yeah.
And one of the things about it is, historically, is the Asylum has always been where the best actors were. They always put the best actors in the Asylum. And now we know some things that we're not going to go into, but basically they're bringing a lot of what they learned from the Asylum into the big house.
Yeah.
And it is fucking working. Because I was not 100% sure if the approach to scaring they use in the Asylum, which is light touch, but heavy touch. It's not like hard touch, not hurt you touch.
No.
But you're going to get touched.
Yeah. You're going to get led around. You're going to get your hair played with. If you have a beard, you're going to get your beard played with.
Yeah. You're going to have stuff happen to you. I didn't know if that acting approach would work in a no-touch haunt, which is what the big house is. It works great.
Yeah. Because it's all about invading personal space.
And like I said, on the way out, it's like, look, nobody touched me that I can recall.
Mm-hmm.
And if they did, they certainly didn't touch me in a very impactful way.
Mm-hmm.
But there were plenty of occasions where I was very sure I was going to be touched.
Yeah.
And was not. These actors have really been trained to get up close, get in people's personal space, and make you uncomfortable. They've been fed good lines, and they are really doing a great job engaging and interacting with you the entire way through that haunt. And best of all, they're playing with the verticality that they have. So now you can expect to find people above you and below you and beside you and in front of you and behind you.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. It's 360 degrees of assholes. I love it.
Yeah.
No, it's actually really, really nice. Because, like I said, the quality of the acting it's so far beyond what it was in previous years. Like I said, it was never bad.
No.
I never complained about it.
No.
But it wasn't something I ever thought to call out as the most amazing, bestest part. This year it absolutely is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it was such a surprise that we enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, and honestly, there were a couple of times going through there which actors would ask questions or engage, and I froze because I wasn't prepared for that level of interactivity.
Right.
My brain wasn't in interactive mode.
That's the Asylum. The Asylum is the interactive part. The haunt's not.
Yeah.
Well, apparently the haunt actually is now.
It's just non-touch interaction.
Yeah, exactly.
It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. I don't have anything else to add. The new scenes they added are great, but honestly, it's the acting that I've walked away with, just blown away by. I don't know how else to phrase that. And the final one, the walkthrough on that one was about 17 minutes. I don't have my notes in front of me on that one. But the final one was the Asylum. And the Asylum, like we said, it's very interactive, very story-oriented, and very touch-oriented. They're going to stroke your face, lead you by the wrist, all that stuff. Now, one thing they told us on the way in that we had not heard previously was that apparently there are multiple endings to the Asylum, especially dependent upon whether you free one prisoner, and I'm doing the air quote thing that nobody can see, in the Asylum, one of the interactive characters. If you free them, supposedly there's a different ending than if you do. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
they meant a different ending to that scene.
Yeah, because it was a different ending to the scene.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah. But
not to the story of the Asylum.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't think so. But man, they didn't have the big change in there. The Asylum didn't, because you could tell. And by the way, the reason the Hayride and the Asylum didn't get major changes was because of all the work they did in the big house.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the whole point I was trying to feed into earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a lot changed. They did change one character out. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to try to word this carefully. But basically, there was a character who, for years and years and years, has been a hypersexualized female patient.
Yeah.
Well, that character is now a male patient who is very bookish and is very psychotic, and basically has been pushed into madness due to being shamed for quote-unquote bedwetting.
Yeah.
Was a crime. And this character is awesome.
Yeah.
It was such a good change. I love the character because the hypersexualized girl was awkward in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't mind hypersexual characters. As a heterosexual man, I'm not going to get too mad about this, but it is awkward being around something like that, someone who is not age appropriate for you.
Yeah.
And it's awkward in the wrong way. This was very fucking awkward, but in the right way.
Yeah.
This was genuinely, oh, this person's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not, it's like, wow, this person is fucked in the head. Like, if we're watching the birth of a Batman villain, I would not be surprised. You tell me that this person goes on to be Penguin or something like that.
Yeah.
Totally going to believe it.
Yeah.
Totally believe it. It had a very different sense of unease, and it had the right sense of unease. Mm-hmm. And also, that was a very different kind of crazy than the other patients.
Yeah.
Because almost everyone was the hyper-manic, angry, crazy. This patient was much more, I don't want to say controlled crazy.
Yeah.
But much more like on a slow burn with the crazy.
You could tell that they had a plan. You didn't know what the plan was or what it involved.
You knew you weren't going to like it.
But they had a plan.
Yeah, this was a more, almost a logical crazy, a thinking crazy than it was all these other, just more animalistic crazy, you know, that you see elsewhere in it. All in all, I mean, it was a very, very good change. I think it was a win. I'm very curious to see, though, what they do with both the Hayride and the Asylum moving forward. Because now they did a lot in the big house. Mm-hmm. I see where the time went.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to hit at. They were not slacking.
No.
So
I'm also glad that they took the Asylum sequence, the traditional Asylum sequence, out of the big house, because it was always confusing to see it in there and then see it in the Asylum.
Yeah, it deals somewhat with an Asylum-like environment. A portion of it is, but it's not in any way visually, aesthetically, like the Asylum.
Yeah, I get more experimental stuff than I do.
Even though the Risewell Asylum does have experimental stuff too.
Yeah, I know. It's confusing.
It is confusing, but they felt very different, is what we're trying to hit.
Yes, they felt very different. They looked very different.
Yeah.
We liked the work that they put into it.
We did not feel like we were going to two of the same asylums.
No.
No, it felt very much different. So, yeah, honestly, looking back on the haunts we went to, Rise's big house, I think, is probably my highlight right now of the season. Mm-hmm. I like the changes at 13th Gate a lot. I mean, even though I'm not a fan of, using pop culture characters and the use of Stranger Things is weird, if you're going to do it great. The 13th Gate's going to do it great. Yeah. That sequence is really, really good. Mm-hmm. There's no denying that. But honestly, just seeing the jump in actor quality and Rise and not realizing how high that ceiling goes.
Yeah.
That they may have made a rod for their own back now. Because now if it's not that good next year, it's going to be disappointing.
Yeah. Well, I think that the person doing their actor managing knows how to push people to their limits to do a really good show.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of training they're doing or how they're teaching these actors, but it is fucking fire, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing. And knowing that they're pulling from an actor pool that's not very urban. They're in Tickfall, Louisiana, for the love of God. Yeah. I'm really, really impressed with just how good everyone was.
Oh, yeah. Small note of remembrance. As we were walking through the bus sequence, I have always hated that sequence.
The microbus?
The microbus.
Yeah.
Because it was always hard to get in and out of.
Yeah.
They've added ramps.
Yeah.
I'm just saying thank you.
I did not notice the ramps. I did not notice anything different.
I did.
I always hate those sequences because I have to duck way down.
Yeah, I don't like them for other reasons.
There's a lot of reasons why those are the weakest scenes.
Yeah, they are definitely the weakest scenes, but I am glad that they added the ramps.
Yeah, the reversal was easier. But all in all, I mean, yeah, that's probably the best nitpick. I've never liked those scenes in particular. Mm-hmm. I don't fit well in them, and as you know, there's other issues with them. Mm-hmm. But man, the acting quality. I was not ready for that.
No.
I was braced for, the big house, and we've been told there was a lot of new stuff in there, so I was braced for that. I did not expect to be on a whole other plane of existence when it came to acting.
No. Yeah, I expected the changes to the physical building because they always
those changes were big. Don't get it wrong. I'm not trying to minimize the work they did.
No.
But Jesus.
Now it is an actor playground.
It is. And you know what? I mean, and it reminds me a lot of like what Statesville and Hell's Gate do in Illinois.
Yeah.
Where they're giving the space, including the up and down, for people to play with, and just kind of telling them, this is what makes good scares, this is what makes bad scares. Make it work. Go forth and scare my children. Yeah. And it works. You give actors the right tools, you give actors the right knowledge, they can make it happen, man. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we're done. That's the last of the haunt visits. All in all, like I said, I think Rise is... I don't really know what to say, but I think that's probably my highlight for this season. I did enjoy the 13th Gate a great deal. I enjoyed pretty much all the haunts we went to for one reason or another.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like who am I looking forward to seeing the most next year? Yeah, Rise. And oddly, the crazy part is Rise Big House, not just the Asylum.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to Rise Big House, and I'm looking forward to Decomposed third year.
Yeah.
Because I do like being a fan from the ground floor.
Yeah. I do think, and I think Decomposed, they've shown that they can make drastic changes in a year, that they can really take things up
even
a huge
with a lot
notch.
of setbacks.
Even with the setbacks, even with limited people. I mean, John does the work, man. There's no doubt. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what Decomposed is like next year, because if they continue if they continue to build at the pace they're building in 3 or 4 years, you're going to be hearing about them on the national stage.
Yeah.
No, that's not a joke. That's just truth.
Yeah.
I mean, right now they're flying under the radar even locally. That ain't going to be forever.
No. They keep growing like this and, building up.
And building out. It's
not going to be long.
Yeah, they're gonna get local and regional, and then eventually national attention. I think it's very likely, especially since they're a haunt that you can hit theoretically on the way to 13th Gate or Rise. Theoretically, it's so hard to get between.
But if they keep growing in size, it's going to be an all-night thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like Rise did.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck you for making my haunt visit so much more complicated by adding stuff and giving a better value. Yeah, fuck y'all. What do you think you are?
Yeah.
No, but seriously, you're right. If it becomes an all-night thing, if they keep expanding, and I think that is what, if they're going to expand, I would want to expand into, is more stuff to do there. Maybe some carnival games, maybe some stuff like that. You know? But anyways, on that note, everyone, thank you very much. It was for haunt visits, it was a light year for us. I think we only did 7 haunts.
Was it even that many?
I think it was 7. We did New Orleans Nightmare Mortuary, 13th Gate, Decomposed, Haunting on the Bayou, Rise. No, it was 6.
Yeah.
Well, 3 attractions of Rise. So it's either 6 or 8, depending on how you want to break it out. But anyways, yeah, that's a light year for us. But it's been an odd season, and we've had a lot of things other than haunting going on in the month of October. Yeah. Hopefully, we're able to get more work done in the winter. You won't have a brand new job.
No, and my boss came through.
Oh, yeah.
So he understands what October means for me, and I've already put them on notice which days I'm going to be taking off next year so that we can go for a far afield trip.
Yeah, it just wasn't practical this year because you started the job like at the beginning of October.
October 2nd.
Yeah, so we couldn't get the time away to go do anything serious. But next year, definitely want to. Give us your suggestions and plans for where we should go next year.
Well, apparently even the news is telling us to go to Ohio.
Yeah, everyone's been saying Ohio, but hey, I haven't bought any tickets yet, so let us know. We're hauntweekly.com, hauntweekly on Twitter, hauntweekly on Facebook, and youtube.com/hauntweekly. Let us know where we should go next year, though I do really want to do Ohio, if at all possible. But until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And we'll see you all next week with a post-mortem on our haunt season. And we'll talk more about, your boss coming to visit the haunt and just how much fun they had. They really did seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that and much more then.